Abourezk. She is a chef, a restaurateur, and the health food advocate. Uh, I understand the chef, the cook, and you have a restaurant, or you have a lot of writing, a lot of you've been on talk shows, and talk to me a little bit about health food advocate. What does that mean?
Uh, what it means, the way I look at it and the way I would advocate that particularly is that, you cannot do anything about your genetic. We are predisposed to certain disease. You cannot do anything about the environment. The only thing you have control of is what you put inside your mouth. So the way we shifted toward processed food, sugar drinks, we are ourselves destroying our body. So it's been since I opened my restaurant, that's been my passion. I give cooking lessons, I give talks, is that we have to go back into the kitchen using a knife, not a can opener, not a microwave, and start cooking from scratch. It saves our body, our budget, and our health.
You talk to an audience here in the United States who's been taken over by chains and the food industry that will not advocate that. The food industry that is controlling the way we eat and the way we cook and processing everything for convenience and all that. Matter of fact, I was reading some statistics that say women in America now spend more time watching cooking show than actually cooking. So tell us about the fight you have with consumerism and the culture of ready-made and convenience and quantitative culture
Well,
we have.
you can always speak with your pocket money. Food companies listen to you. If you notice, lately now they're pushing a lot. We don't have trans fatty acid. What do you think has happened? Trans fatty acid, the margarine, is very cheap, but because we spoke out, now there is a pushback against corn syrup. Same thing, because we spoke out. So, but the most important thing now, pushing back the swing into cooking healthy, cooking back economy. Processed food, the more processed the food, the more expensive, because you're paying for somebody else to process this food for you. And like you said, it's very genuine statement. People spending more time. I mean, you have cooking channels, you have food channels, you have YouTubes. I do, some of them. So if you have half an hour to watch all these shows, you have half an hour to cook.
In your bio here, you wrote books, you have a degree in agriculture, master degree in nutrition, you have publication. Oh boy, I can't believe it is soy. This is like, I can't believe it's butter. So
Yep.
you're very clever. You know what's going on in the pop culture. But tell us a little bit about your background. I know
That's
you're.
true. Middle Eastern food, according to the World Health Organization, is the healthiest cuisine ever. However, we are not cooking any more Middle Eastern cuisines. Even when I go to my mom, they're using the margarine, which is trans fatty acid. They're using, around the corner, my nieces, my nephews, they come home, they have all the Coke product, they have all the chips. So McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And if you notice, we are following the lead of America, not in science, but in obesity. So even back home, we are getting lazier. And kids spend their money on the all junk food and putting all these preservatives. There is a line when I was studying dietitian, it said that if you dug the grave of an American 100 years after you bury him, he'd be the same. Why? Because of all the preservative he ate. Well, the Middle Eastern cuisine is healthy just by geographical location, if you want to think about it. We have, long time ago, we started planting the wheat. And this is a very healthy grain. From wheat, we have the flour, and we have the bulgur wheat, which now it's getting popular actually in the health society all over the United States and Europe now catching up. You have the olive oil. I mean, I ate olive oil just because my parents' farm actually inside an olive oil orchard. The inconvenience, we didn't have refrigeration long time ago, so people were cooking scratch every day. When I came to America, I went to California. While I was waiting for an interview for my master's degree, I talked to a teacher, and she was the head of the food and nutrition department, and I switched. My father wasn't very happy to start with, but then he accepted my
Well,
decision. And for
that's what parents for, you know, they're never happy with what
yeah,
the
well,
kids.
for him is, the whole idea was for me to come to America is to
Yeah,
come back, help him with the farm, and make it very modernized.
yeah,
But and he wanted me to be like, I'm sure every Middle Eastern, they wanted their children to
doctor.
be a doctor. So I'm
Yeah,
supposed to finish my doctorate, become Dr. Sanaa Abourezk.
yeah.
It was boring for me. So my husband, he can see I had this passion for cooking and creating all these recipes. He said, "Why don't you go to France to pursue your passion?" So I ended up in Paris in the Cordon Bleu. I learned baking, and then I went to Italy for sauces. Believe me, and my parents were not very happy. You don't spend money to learn to cook. You should be able to
Natural.
cook.
It should be natural.
Exactly. And then when I came back, I started developing recipes for my neighbor and our friend. This one had a heart attack. This one has diabetes. So working through the developing, changing recipes to make it healthier, I end up with the cookbook. And then when we moved to the Sioux Falls from Rapid City, we couldn't find a healthy restaurant. And that's how the whole career started.
Is there any place where you actually can go and learn how, Middle Eastern cooking? And is there something like that out there?
No, Middle Eastern cooking, they would, we unfortunately still because of the politics, we're not there yet. We still, they don't look at the chef as a career. They look at it, like my parents, for a long time, I had two cookbooks. I published two cookbooks, and my sister, she is a doctor. She's an endocrinologist. She had a booklet about diabetes. For a long time on their bookshelves, they had my sister's book in the front, notebook on the front, and my books hidden because mine were cookbooks.
I mean, I'm not saying this is bad, but it
No,
seems.
no, I mean that's a cultural thing. You have to be a doctor. Like if you tell them you're going to spend $15,000 to learn to cook, they'll freak out.
Your mother would do that for free. No,
Yeah, exactly.
but tell us a little bit about the relationship with food. It seems like in our culture back home, our relationship with food, in some extent in Europe too, to enjoy eating and take your time, and it's a chance for social gathering, and it's like our Facebook social. That's where we're time for eating or cooking. People cook together and eat together, and the Arab saying, you eat alone, you die alone. But here you come, a different culture will have a different relationship with eating and cooking and all that. So do you address that in your restaurants and your writing and your consulting?
Yes, actually, it's absolutely true, and I think one of the reason or the culprit for the obesity in the United States is the way they eat. And like in my restaurant, I encourage people. I say that I do it same like with in Europe and Middle East. The tables, when you get your tables, that's your tables for the evening. I don't do double seating because I want them to learn the art of enjoying a meal. So when my sister came to visit me here, we went to a restaurant, and she will tell me, she said she spent half an hour getting dressed. And when we go to restaurant, people spending 10 minutes, we are guests, to eat. And she said, this is ridiculous. So it's first when you cook together, just the process of cooking together. If you think about it, it's like you are with a psychiatrist. We never need a psychiatrist in the Middle East because your aunt will give you her opinion, your cousin will give you her opinion, and by the time you finish making the kibbe or the tabbouleh, you vent out all your problem, so you're a happy person. And then the process of chopping and you making it from scratch, and then the whole idea of sitting on a table. And there's a big push now in the United States. It's called slow eating movement. And they're trying to push the concept of take your time to eat. You don't want to eat in the car driving. I mean, what kind of pleasure you have while you're driving, trying to pay attention to the road or your car, and you're shoving something in your mouth? That's why food companies don't care about the taste, and they add all these preservatives because they know you are just basically stuffing your mouth. And we don't want that. We want the opposite. That's a big thing of what I preach. You have to cook from scratch, take your time chopping, cooking, and take your time enjoying the meal.
It's interesting when we go back home and we see the fast food chain, you see.
I know, it's very sad.
And it's interesting, but how the consumer mold the fast food place to fit their own culture. Like people go there as a family, and they it's not because they eat fast food. They eat it fast. They eat it slowly, and they probably stay there for hours and eating. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Tell us a little bit about why the Middle Eastern cuisine did not make it big in the United States. I know we touched about it a little bit, but it was barking here. And let's revisit there. And what is the future of Middle Eastern food in America?
There is, I mean, you're absolutely right. There is only few factor of the cuisine made it into America. For example, like I said, the tabbouleh or the hummus. If you go to any grocery stores now in the United States, you find the containers of tabbouleh, container of hummus. Because of the politics, at of time you don't see it saying like Syrian tabbouleh or Egyptian kushari or something. They would say pilaf, but they wouldn't say kushari. They would say tabbouleh, healthy parsley salad,
Yeah,
but they would say. So it's still, unfortunately, the politics is still a big underlining of the company, of all these, to take it big. There is some chains, like even you go to Whole Food now, you find the bulgur, big time. Now it's been pushed one of the best grain to eat, to make pilaf for diabetes, for health, for heart. Olive oil, the parsley, the hummus, all this. But as a cuisine, you're right. I don't see any yet until America changed their view of us as, and of course we have to do it, change it for them.
has something
All these, yeah, absolutely. I mean, locally, for example, for when you are well known locally. So like for me now, my customers know me and everything. I do sell my product in the grocery chains here and in the health stores, and they know it's made by me. So they say it's made by Sanaa. They don't say it's a Syrian recipe.
But it seems like, talk to us a little bit about the uniqueness of Middle Eastern food. Where did that come from? The history, the geography, and the religion, and all that.
Well, it's a combination of all. Like by luck, we were born in the area where the ingredients were olive oil, bulgur wheat, a lot of beans, fresh vegetables. I mean, you have the Mediterranean. It has all the rivers, the geography of the weather. We were able to grow all of this. You can't find. I mean, Scandinavian, they have butter and fish just because that's the only thing available. So by luck, we're born in the area which has all the best ingredients for our health. And for a long time, we didn't have any refrigeration, so we had to cook from scratch. We had to be genius about preserving food for the winter. So we have the yogurt. We had, aged cheese. We have, it's called shinklish or kishk in Syria and Lebanon. I don't know what's called in Egypt, but that's to preserve all the dairy for the winter, to clarify the butter. So we have ghee, semni, to preserve it for winter, which is actually healthier than if you use semni than if you use butter, or if you, of course, you don't want to use margarine. So just the mere idea of to survive, and then we dried the fruit, we dried the figs, we dried the zucchini, and even up to now, here we cook seasonal. Like for me, I know you can find watermelon every day of the year in the United States. I only use it in summertime. So just by using seasonal, so that's me using local food, the produced food. It's not something made somewhere else or planted somewhere else and shipped with all the preservatives.
So that's when you are not eating your own food, where do you go? What other food cuisine that you like to take your husband?
We like Italian. Like I said, we love Italy. We go there a lot. But so my daughter grew up with Italian food. So, and because I cook at home at the restaurant Middle Eastern food with a twist, very healthy concept. When I go home, they don't want to eat the same thing. Of course, they're spoiled. They have a chef in residence. So at home, I cook Italian. So we love Italian. Come back to the kitchen. See, you have for two generations, American lost the art of cooking. They don't know how to cook. The idea of cooking on opening a frozen dinner or opening or a can. They grew up with McDonald's and Burger King. they need to come back into cooking. We, as an also like a young generation Arab American, they need to come back to learn to cook.
What makes a chef unique, a great chef? Talks about the performance, the artistic part of cooking.
That's actually a very important part of cooking. Like you said, a lot of people can follow recipes, but if you're not artistic, in Arabic we say عند نفس.
Nafas.
عند نفس.
It's a praise, isn't it something? You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I sometimes I try to explain to my cooking lessons عند نفس. Because sometimes, I mean, you take somebody, you give them the recipe and they make it and it will look awful, taste awful, and of course nobody will touch it. But sometimes you come into a place and just by walking into the restaurant, the smell make you like salivate, you want to eat. So this is a part of, absolutely, it's an art. But I always tell them, I said, you know, first, the nose eat first. You walk in and it smells great. So you're already starting anticipating a good meal. The eye eats second. The last part to eat is the mouth. So yes, so that's the eye and the nose are more important, the artistic, than the mouth.
Yeah, in being a successful business woman and a restaurateur, that's great, and we wish you well. Anything
I just want to tell you, whoever watching, is that it's so important. It's really, you cannot emphasize enough how important for you to take control of your body, to start paying attention to what we are putting in your mouth. You know, every time we are so careful about what kind of gasoline we put in a car, which is an engine. You can always replace it, but you cannot replace your heart. So always read the labels, make sure you're eating healthy and cooking from scratch.
Sanaa Abourezk, chef, restaurateur, and a health food advocate. Thank you so much. We wish you enjoy the rest of the day and good luck with your venture.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.